P9 back with another vlog, and I am in Orlando's historic black district called Parramore. So we're gonna walk around Parramore, get a vibe of the neighborhood and get the history, because it's very historic neighborhood right here in Orlando. So let's get into it, shall we? So I'm gonna start this vlog off right here at this mural. Really nice mural by JJ the artist. It's a few artists actually who did this mural illustrating the history of Paramore. Is at JJ_ the artist, at XYZ Art 7, at Angel Clothes Artiste, and at Ridge Dot the artist. So really nice, really dope, colorful mural illustrating the history of Paramore. And they have these historical buildings that were in its heyday the cornerstones and staples of the Paramore neighborhood. You had the Carver Theater, which welcomed famous musicians such as Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald, and Dizzy Gillespie. You have the Hankins building right there, illustration of the South Street Casino. And also in the background you have the grid of the street layout of the Paramore neighborhood. And you have Senator Geraldine F. Thompson right here. Now this senator served in both the Senate and the House of the Florida State Legislature. She was a huge advocate for education, and she also participated and was around during the civil rights era, the civil rights movement back in the 60s. So she helped foster in education for the youth in the community. And she just passed away early last year, early 2025. So a little less than a year ago. But yeah, that's Senator Geraldine F. Thompson, who also helped develop the Wells Museum right here in Orlando. And you have Thomas Chapman Jr., who was on the Orlando downtown development. So he was very key and crucial in developing the downtown area. So it's really good that they gave their flowers to both Senator Geraldine F. Thompson, who passed last year, and Thomas Chapman Jr., who passed in 2023. So RIP to them. And I like how they have they have them on these ribbons right here, their names on these ribbons. And you have the black birds right here. I guess they're supposed to be doves, I'm not sure. But yeah, this symbolizes the peace. WellsBuilt Hotel, Mount Pleasant Missionary Baptist Church, also in a really historical buildings in Paramore. And you have the palm tree illustration, which are prominent right here in Florida. And this says right here, approved by DH. So really nice artwork for everybody who participated in putting this together. And again, you just saw a few minutes ago the hashtags of all the artists and their social media handles. Again, JJ the artist, DH. Shout out to all of them. Now, one thing about Paramore is just west of downtown. So what you have is Paramore is an older, in some ways economically depressed neighborhood, and you juxtapose that with downtown where there's a lot of newer development. It's a very stark contrast, but it's a lot of history in this neighborhood. See this right here, for instance, this is like a newer development. But we're going to see some old historic buildings, of course. Now they also built the stadium a few years back. It's a soccer stadium for the Orlando's Major League Soccer team. It's called Inter and Co Stadium. It sits right over there, as you can see. So that's just another example of newer development in an old historic neighborhood. Now this is a historic building right here. It is now the Greater Refuge Memorial, but it was once the Ebenezer United Methodist Church. And this was once a wooden building that was built on this site in 1892, and the first in Orlando where Black Methodists could attend. Construction of the Gothic style brick church began in 1922. The parsonage was built in 1937. The basement meeting room was completed in 1959. And in 1977, the Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ of the Apostolic Faith, Inc. purchased this building. So, yeah, this is a historic building, which was once Ebenezer United Methodist Church. It sits right across from this apartment building, the City View. Right here on Terry Avenue are two historical churches. One is they're both the same churches. Both of them are Shiloh Baptist Church of Orlando. Both buildings, that is. Both buildings, the same church. Shiloh Baptist Church of Orlando. Derek Williams, senior pastor. That building was built in 1980, and I presume this building perhaps built same year. Looks like they're doing some work over there. I mean, despite the fact that this is an older neighborhood, it looks like it has potential. Looks like it has potential. I'm about to walk down South Street. I had to come over here and get this scripture. The Lord is on my side, I will not fear. Psalms 118:6. Most definitely can't go wrong when the Lord is on your side, for sure. It's like an old, dilapidated and abandoned apartment building. Right here. I'm on Parramore Avenue, right here at the Paramore National Register Historic District. Now, if it's on the National Historic District, National Register, then you know it's the real deal. This the real deal over here. Very, very historic. And it was a black Mecca at one point in time. We talking early 1900s. See, there's a church building across the street. Over here at the corner of Paramore and Anderson Street. This is the building for Bethel Missionary Baptist Church. Bethel Missionary Baptist. We have this place right here. And check out that spot right there. Sister Soul Food. They got a little line right there. Sister Soul Food. Here's another mural right here. Has Paramore. It's like has some barber scissors right there. And you got the Afro pick with the black fist right there. You see that? That's really dope. And there goes the signature of the artist right there. Can't make out who that is, but it's really dope. 2022. Really nice. Really nice. What was that? Man, I can't tell who that is. Shout out to whoever that is. But it has JJ, the artist's name on there. His social media handle. So that's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah. New Life Overcoming Holy Church of God, Pastor Elma Salter, founder Sally Armstead. It's boarded up, abandoned. We have a learning center across the street. Some of these businesses probably are still operational. Look at this. My Bell's restaurant. Looks like another little local joint right here. Queen the artist. It's really nice. It's a really nice painting, drawing right here. My Bell's. And it was only established 2016, just 10 years ago. Don't look like they're open right now, but this is what they serve. Pork chop, wings, burgers, sandwiches, salad, seafood boil, crabs, fried fish, and shrimp. Sound like some good eating right there. But they closed right now though. And it's like, what is it, a little after 11? Maybe they'll be open later on today, who knows? Have a hair salon right there. Barber on duty, Queen the artist. This is nice. Nice illustration. Shout out to Queen the artist. Check this out. I'm about to proceed down this way but I want to go check. I want to get this real quick. Yo, check this out. Got this busted up ATM right here. This is crazy. Wow. I didn't do it. That's all I got to say on that. I'm innocent. Now this building right here is the Hankins building. This is a historic building right here in Parramore. And Dr. I.S. Hankins constructed this Art Deco commercial building in 1947, making it one of the first black-owned and operated professional buildings. Dr. Hankins was an early African-American physician and a key civic leader involved with city boards, integration of city schools, and on the board of the Red Cross. He advanced the money for the development of Washington Shores, which was dedicated in 1947 as a subdivision that allowed African Americans to own their own homes. The Orlando chapter of the NAACP had an office here for a number of years. So yeah, that's the Hankins building. Very historic landmark right here in Parramore. And you have this pink church building right here. This is Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. Now this is located at the corner of South Street and Paramore Ave. But this is Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. The African American church was organized in 1919 and met in various locations, including a bush arbor constructed of poles covered with branches. In 1921, land was purchased at this corner for a permanent structure, which was completed in 1924. Skilled craftsmen who were members of the church handmade this rusticated concrete blocks used to construct the exterior walls of this Gothic style church. The Mount Baptist congregation worshiped here until 1980. This is the oldest African American church building in the city. So we are right here at the oldest African American church building in Parramore, or in the city of Orlando as a whole. So here goes the sides of it. Gonna cross over here. Guess it's some more unoccupied vacant buildings in the historic neighborhood. All this is closed. This used to be a wing spot right here. Mike's food store. I think this is still open though. That's good. They have a grocery, beer and wine. So I'm guessing that's a little grocery store right there. Have a youth center across the street. This would be a pretty cool little neighborhood. Some services still remaining. Check out this artwork right here. It's really cool. Like an artwork of some children. And their smiling faces. That's really nice. It's called Nurture and Grow. Now this mural was put together by PJ Saveda. Mural on Concrete, Art Pollination. Art Pollination is a City of Orlando public art initiative that brings together artists and community partners to raise awareness about food insecurity and promote healthy eating through engaging creative experiences. This project includes work by 22 artists and invites residents to explore food access through art installations, educational programming, and community events. Now, PJ Saveda himself studied at the Savannah College of Art and Design, or where she earned both a BA in illustration and an MA in painting. So it's a woman. So excuse me. It's so PJ herself studied at SCAD, and she began her career as an artist and instructor at Atlanta, Georgia for 12 years before relocating to Orlando, Florida, where she has had great success in the local art community. Shout out to the young lady, PJ Saveda, for her involvement in the community when it comes to animal, environmental, and human rights activism. And this is a really nice illustration right here in a very historic neighborhood of Parramore. There goes the stadium again, Enter and Co Stadium, home of the Orlando Magic, or excuse me, the Orlando FC Major League Soccer team. J. Henry's Barbershop. Okay. There's also a nice mural over there. Looks like some harvesting going on. And that's by Pivotal Character. So a lot of artwork, a lot of nice murals in this city and in this particular neighborhood. Oh, Walt Disney. Oh, this is a stadium. They got Walt Disney's name attached to it. Interesting. Interesting. It's another nice mural. This one is by Carlos Jefferson. It's called Nurturing, Nurturing Roots. Also pertaining to feeding the community, being involved, and also it helps to actually cultivate your own food as well. If you learn how to plant and garden your own food. And Carlos, he's exhibited his artwork has been exhibited in numerous galleries and public spaces, and he's a contemporary artist known for his evocative and deeply spiritual explorations of identity, community, and the human experience. And he hails from the vibrant streets of Brooklyn, New York. So shout out to Carlos Jefferson, who's been creating art since his teenage years. And I believe that's his tag right there. It might be a social media tag. But yeah, this is it looks like a mother and daughter planting seeds in a flower pot. It's really nice. Really nice. This is by Kelly Delaney, who's a Florida native. This is a really nice art piece by her. Kelly Delaney art. Really cool mural right here. Woman with a bouquet of flowers and a butterfly. This is by Nathania Guerrera. This is called Donde Hey Amor. And Nathania was born and raised in Ecuador, and she's now based in Florida. And she brought her artistic endeavors here to beautify Orlando. And I believe that's her social media handle right there at letter.play. Really nice on the urban landscape. And this is by Senna Hugh Vega. This is called Pollinating Dreams. Again, another mural on concrete design. That's the social media tag for Senna Hugh Vegan Grin. It's really nice. It looks like it has a woman with like leaves and a bunch of trees on her, a bunch of leaves around it. And this is like her being immersed in nature. That's what I get from it. My best interpretation of artwork. So that was really nice artwork right there. And this building looks like it was once upon a time a service station. Because this wide space right here indicated it might have been gas pumps right there. Yeah, it had to have been a gas station of some sort. For the last part of this Parramore, Orlando, Florida vlog, we're going to showcase the Wells Hotel, which now functions as an African American museum. So let's get into it, shall we? So this is called the WellsBuilt Hotel. It now functions as a African American studies or African American history and culture museum. And this is, you know, it's not open at this moment, but they do have a lot of history, historical information, valuable historical information outside this museum. This one says the fabric of our communities, talking about how history is created through moments in time, people, and places. Here is Marie Van Britten Brown. Her and her husband designed a closed circuit system that monitored visitors via camera and projected their images into a television monitor. A panic button was added to contact the police immediately. Brown envisioned a series of 3 to 4 peepholes at various heights. A camera would slide over these peepholes to assess the outside area. A radio controlled wireless monitor would transfer the image to a monitor. And keep in mind, people, this was 1966. They were you had black people that were innovative even back then. That seemed to be ahead of its time for that time period. But shout out to Marie Van Britten Brown. And this just has a map of the many historical buildings around this area. You had the Washington Shores and Saving Loans Bank, excuse me, formerly Jones High School. You had the J.B. Callahan Neighborhood Center, which the first African American school was built and later became known as the Johnson Academy, and that was in the Callahan neighborhood. And you had the Carter Tabernacle near Black Bottom House of Prayer, Carver Court Housing Project. So you had a housing project built back in 1945 to house African Americans, that were experiencing economic hardships. So it's basically a slums back in the day. The William Monroe Wells House. William Monroe Wells, an African American physician, owner of the WellsBuilt Hotel and South Street Casino, built this house in 1924, and that was his own house on South Street, which I believe is that house right here. I believe it's this house right here that he had built. But yeah, so much history. We saw the Shiloh Street Baptist Church earlier. The Hankins building, we saw that earlier as well. So yeah, they had a couple of housing projects in the area as well. And Dr. William Monroe Wells constructed this hotel in 1926, which provided lodging to African Americans during segregation when rooms were not available to them in other areas. Many dignitaries such as Thurgood Marshall and famous black entertainers and athletes stayed here, including Jackie Robinson and Ella Fitzgerald. Next door was Dr. Wells' South Street Casino, where many of the entertainers performed for the black community. Okay, so they had a casino right next door to this hotel as well. So this was a booming entertainment district, and it was the Holden Parramore Historic District, developed in the early decades of the 20th century. It holds most of the remaining African American historic resources in downtown Orlando. This district is bounded by West Church Street on the north, McFall on the west, Long Street and West South Street on the south, and the South Division Avenue on the east. Due to segregation, African Americans were not permitted to live in the city's predominantly white neighborhoods and were relegated to the area west of downtown on the other side of Division Avenue. Yeah, I wonder why they called it Division Avenue. It seemed to be fitting. In 1928, much of the land in Paramore was zoned for industrial uses, coupled with the construction of several highways beginning in the 1960s. These factors have made a lasting impact on the homes, businesses, and cultural institutions of America. So let's not forget, you know, when you have a lot of these highways being constructed, these interstates and different highways, it displaced a lot of businesses and homes of black people. So that's the basically the historical impact that it had. And yep, 20 years bold. WellsBuilt Museum of African American and Culture. And they even have this old historical clock right here. And I believe this is the house right here of Mr. Wells. But yeah, you have right here, it gives a marker for the racial violence in America. Lynching and racial violence terrorized thousands of black people in the U.S. between 1865 and 1950. After the Civil War, a persistent ideology of white supremacy led to violent abuse of black people and decades of political, social, and economic exploitation. As white mobs were permitted to engage in brutal violence with impunity, lynching emerged as the most public and notorious form of racial terrorism intended to enforce racial hierarchy and segregation. Lynchings often included burnings and mutilations, sometimes in front of crowds numbering in the thousands. Like Arthur Henry, many black people were taken from homes, public spaces, and courtrooms, or handed over to mobs by law enforcement officials who had the legal duty to protect them. Many lynchings victims' names were not recorded and will never be known, but more than 344 racial terror lynchings have been documented in Florida alone, including at least 33 in Orange County. The WellsBuilt Museum was previously the location of the segregated WellsBuilt Hotel, established in 1926 as the area's first black hotel by Dr. William Monroe Wells, a prominent black doctor. Dr. Wells was the coroner who signed Arthur Henry's death certificate after his lynching in 1925. This location is also just a few blocks from Mr. Henry's home at what is now the I-4 East-West Expressway ramp where he was shot, and the black ward of Orange General Hospital from which he was abducted. That is absolutely awful. Absolutely tragic. It's really hard to read stuff like that and not get emotional, you know, not get your emotions tapped into, you know what I'm saying? So that's just crazy. So where Mr. Henry's home was once located, it is now occupied by an I-4 entry and exit expressway ramp, which I was just mentioning before about the displacement of a lot of homes due to the installation of these highways. So the WellsBuilt Hotel, preserved and rehabilitated by the Trust for Public Land and Association to Preserve African American Society, History, and Tradition, and generally contracted. The general contractor was R.L. Burns Inc., architected by Chalmers Yielding. Which brings us to the end of this Paramore vlog. I'd like to thank everybody for rocking with me for this vlog. I'm pretty sure you guys learned a lot of history. I sure learned a lot of history myself. So that in mind, good people, thanks for tuning in. It's another Orlando vlog. Stay tuned for that. If you made it this far, make sure you hit the like button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you select the subscribe button along with the notification bell. That way you get notified each and every time I drop a new vlog. That in mind, peace. Have a great day.